Howdy, folks. Teeth are in. Way, we're all set. Saw them yesterday and thought of buying them. Oh yeah, the was it the double stack with or it was like a big burger with peppercorn sauce. Yeah, it was okay. Nothing to write home to mother about, but loud and clear. Thank you, Dino. Very good afternoon to you, Aaronville, Mick, Simon Trains. Nice to see you. Howdy. Summer Breeze is John and Holly. Hope you're both well. Chuck Schreiber has joined us from South Texas. Um, Wonderful country. Talking of wonderful countries, there's Eric. Hello, Eric. Nice to see you. Shedley Wood is Rob. Hello, Rob. Nice to see you. Rob's going live just after me at Shedley Wood Model Railway. So what I'll try and do is give 5 minutes or so you can siphon the Python or whatever. Go to your bathroom needs, as they say. Sorry about the noise next door. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but they've just decided to cut the grass. So what can you do? John Train, BFGR. Very good morning to you. It's afternoon here, but a worldwide audience. What can we say? It's the miracle of YouTube, as they say. A lot of there's a lot of denigration. Cut wet grass. No, it's pleasantly dry here at the moment. There was a heavy spell of rain last night, but that's all seemed to have dried away. Broken sunshine and cloud here, so that's the way it is, Andrew. Very good afternoon to you. You're on the other side of Hertfordshire, but there you go. It's a big county. Curly Express is Dwight. Hello, Dwight. Dwight, tune in for Dwight's live stream tonight at 7 o'clock. 156 Andrew is our Scottish brother. A very good afternoon to you, Andrew. I hope you are well. I hope your mum's doing okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think I've caught up. If there's anybody I've missed out, do forgive me. Tom Houston, very windy in Northern Ireland, but sunny. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Windy's not bad. That should dry out some of the emerald element, as they say. A lot of rain in Ireland. It's that's why they call it the Emerald Isle. And there you go. Nice to see everybody in. Mick, as always, the royal barkeeper is in to take your orders, as long as it's half a pint of pale ale. Cheers, Mick. Dara's Locomotive Shed has joined us from the Emerald Isle, and a very good afternoon to you. Cold and damp in central Ohio. Lots and lots of modelers in Ohio. That's one thing I had. Big railroad state is Ohio. You've got Anthony Dodge, who did a superb show last night. Artie is now back home in Australia. I don't know if he'll be joining us, but he's probably catching up on some much needed sleep. Don't serve halves. Oh, Mick, you've got to spare us. you've got to spare us from pints all the time. Can't deal with pints anymore. There's only so much body that can take a pint, and I don't have it. I think I'll stick to shorts. That's appropriate. Anyway, what are we running today? I thought I'd get out the Wrexham and Shropshire set, what there is of it, which is a Class 67, two standard Mark III coaches, and a driving van trailer on the back, a DVT. That's all I have of it. That's all Hornby produced. So that was it. They did do a set of three coaches in blue and grey, the old British Rail standard colours, with Wrexham and Shropshire slapped on the side. But I always thought that it looked piecemeal in real life and it looked piecemeal on the model. So I decided not to get that one. I was only allowed 2 pints last night. Are you, is that because they know you're going to be inebriated after 3, so they cut you short to 2? Or was it just policy? You can explain that one, Andrew. I won't cast any aspersions, but yeah, the demon drink, huh? Yeah, it's okay in moderation, but too much of the yeah. Anyway, let's get things moving. After all the fuss, let's make sure it does a circuit first. Wrexham and Shropshire, that should be coming from my right. Sneaking over the back there. My lift was too tired, so I had to drive myself to the pub. Gotcha. Yes. It was a regulatory limit. I understand. Still, yeah, that's very good of you. You stuck in the limits. That seems to be running quite well. Touch wood. I'll give it a little more speed. There's a little bit of noise on there somewhere. I don't know if it's coming from the pickups or from the drive, so it may require a bit of lubrication, light lubrication. Used to remember Wrexham and Shropshire very well. It was one of those kind of things that escaped me until after it was gone. Story of my life, Simon. I didn't realise its existence and what it actually did until it was the last knockings, and they said, "Well, it's the final trip today of the Wrexham and Shropshire Railway." What? And then when I looked into it, I thought, "Oh, what a great colour scheme, grey and silver." Two of my favourite people, Dino and Monsville, separated by a mere 10,000 miles. But there you go. Very nice of you, Eric. Correct. Yeah. Okay. Yes, a very attractive colour scheme. As I say, this is all Hornby made of it because that's all there was, and it only hung around for the real thing. Only hung around for 5 or 6 years or more. Simon, you can probably help me there. But the Class 67 suited it very well. That's just coming around now. Behind me, there it is. So it's a 50-50 bar. It's half grey and it's half silver. The coaches are mostly silver with a grey surround for the windows. And the driving van trailer on the back is very similar to the engine. Went on the Watercress line yesterday. A pretty little line. Oh, might be worth checking that out if I hadn't already. Ran from Wrexham General to London Marylebone via Shrewsbury, Wolverhampton, Tamenbridge Parkway, Coventry, Leamington Spa, Bicester North. How long were they in operation, Simon? Anyway, it's nice to see you, Monsville, all the way down under. Keeping up the tail end of the planet. It's not really the tail end because the sunlight hits you first. So really, we're sort of the middle, and Hawaii is the tail end, I think. Forgive me if I'm confused. When I get to doing the legs, this is the layout. How many supports would you do? The patterns for the legs are 2x2. Well, that's pretty thick, and the support battens are 3x1. In each corner, I would say, depending on how big your modules are. I'd say for every 3 or 4 foot, have a leg. That seems to work okay with this, and I've only got 3/4 inch by 1 3/4 battens on my top, and they don't seem to have warped any. So very good afternoon, Mark. Up the bus wankers. Way. Nice to see you, Mark. Hope you're well down there on the south coast. 10:30 Sunday night here. Yeah, so you're all heading for Monday, and we're still basking in Sunday. And it's very much morning over in the Americas. So yeah, it's a full day show, really. Anyway, that seems to be running nicely. The other similarly coloured Class 68, which is sitting here, is in X. I think it was down as X, Wrexham and Shropshire, but it may have said on the box, Chiltern Railways. 7:14 in the morning. I'm sorry to get you up this early, Chuck. I really am. But now you've made the effort, a very big welcome from all of us in the UK. Ian Melling has joined us. Very good afternoon to you, Ian. I hope you're well. Yes, the Class 68, which is over here, very similar colours, silver, grey, but I think a lot of the stock from Wrexham and Shropshire went to Chiltern Railways. So it was in plain grey and silver. Now we'll get this one moving. And because we're heading towards what you would call in the Americas as the fall, which we call autumn, the track clearing train is on the back of this Class 68. I'll just speed it up a bit. This is the Daypole model. Happy Valley Hobbies. There's Edward. A very good morning to you, Edward. Hope you're well. Yes, this is the Railhead Treatment Train, RHTT. A lot of big tanks there, and they blast the rails with water and sometimes some chemicals to get rid of all the leaves and the slipperiness from the lines during it's mostly the fall. It's mostly autumn. So they'll be coming out now. The real thing will be coming out now, and they'll be starting to get ready for the leaves falling off the trees and mashing up onto the lines and creating a lot of slippery mess. So they take these trains around and blast it. The real thing usually has one on the front, one on the back, two sets of tanks. They go up and down the lines, blasting them, particularly where there's lots of trees. Coming at the spring there, well, it would be, yeah, you're on the other side of the world, Mon. So here it is. This is what it should look like when it leaves the factory. Andy Dobson. Hi, Andy. Thank you for joining us. Am I coming apart? No, we don't need glue to keep us together. And Greg, a very good day to you. Great Northern 70 Greg. There he is. Good to see you. Yes, so this is what they look like when they leave the factory in nice bright blue with emblazoned with Network Rail on the side of it. But when they get into operation, after a hard day's work, they turn an all over brown and orange. And usually the trailing locomotive gets absolutely covered in muck. The same colour that the rest of them, because they're blasting all this crap up and it just goes everywhere. Wind seems to be getting up here. Yes, it is a bit breezy here today. Still do have a bit of sun. Yeah, it's popping in and out of the clouds. So I've noticed the last couple of days we've been quite fortunate because it's been nice in the morning, but getting lousier as it gets through the day. And then towards the evening, woof, down it comes. It must be chilly there. Yeah, I'll bet it probably is. Sunny in Essex. Essex is the next county over, that way. That's east. Hello, Rob. I waved. It's a friendly thing to do. So yes, the 68 is a Dapole model. One of their better models. They did have a few problems with the DRS liveried one, where they got the artwork wrong on the sides, and they had to make a whole new load of bodies. But this one, you can't go far wrong with it because it's grey and it's silver. But it goes in with the general theme of the Wrexham and Shropshire, which is grey and silver. Had to put the heating on last night around 9 as it dropped very cold. Yeah, what did it say last night? It was down to something like 14 degrees. That's centigrade. Down into the 50s Fahrenheit. So it's getting colder. Hopefully the heat waves have stopped. Normal temperatures now feels cold. Yeah, I'm afraid we've got a bit spoiled. A very good morning to Anthony Dodge. Super show you did yesterday. Plus we've had a couple of teasers for Matt Clark, which is always welcome. That tends to get the comedic juices flowing. Still got your fan on. Well, trust you, Paul. Very good afternoon to you. Nice to see you. Still got your fan on. Well, there's no answer to that kind of mentality. What can I say? March West Junction Andy is there as well. Nice to see you, Andy. So we've got 3 Andys in now. That's me. That's Andy Dobson. And March West Junction Andy. So, hello, Pauline. Pauline, who have I missed? Pauline, yes. A germ of endearment for Paul. Yeah. Randy Andy? I don't think so. Anyway, Robert's Train Set has joined us. Another super channel. Hope you're well. I'm very well, Robert, thank you. Managed to get my grilled fish down inside me this morning. So I'm feeling quite replete. Oui. What was the what did I say? It was something like ragout de boeuf. Ragout de boeuf. Beef stew. I'll never starve. Yeah. So even if I'm dumped in France, gagged and tied, I can still eat. Ragout de boeuf, s'il vous plaît. Right. Titty would probably Titty Ali. Although that's Belgium, but still speaks French. What a confusing world it is, but quite joyful. Anyway, a very good morning to Anthony and Joyce. I hope you are both well. Let's get you down trackside so you can see what's running, except from a distance. Right, here we go. La 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 la. For information, I've just received the last pot of paint for the repaint of the coach. So now I have the silver, now I have the grey, and I've also received the decals or transfers for the sides. Forgive that noise, that was the door banging open. I'll leave it open now because it's getting increasingly warm in here. But I did shut the door because they were having the mower going next door. Let me just see. How is that? Is that view up to the usual standard? Here comes the Class 68 from behind you. It's behind you. Pulling the RHTT, the Railhead Treatment Train. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. And Delft Junction Pete has joined us. Very good day to you, Pete. Hope you and Sue are very well. And here's a wave from me. Class 68 with the Railhead Treatment Train. And on the other side is what all the fuss was about. The Wrexham and Shropshire Class 67. 2 Mark IIIs in their funky colours, and a driving van trailer. This one, the Class 68, is in what I'd loosely say is Chiltern colours, but effectively it's Wrexham and Shropshire. We all know that. I think they were designed to run with the Wrexham and Shropshire gear, but I think events overtook them. So all it got was colour scheme, but not the logo. Sparky Dave, very good day to you, Dave, over in the Dominion of Canada. I'm glad that your meet and greet was such a huge success. It was really good. I enjoyed every bit of video that came out. There was no fighting at the local bar. I think everybody had a really good time, and I'm sure it was great meeting all the stars, of which our reluctant hero, Sparky, is obviously the star. Putting all that together was a monstrous task. A lot of financial headaches, a lot of logistical headaches. It was just a headache, and you did extremely well, Dave. Robert's just put a post up. I found a good deal on the webcam and it's needed to replace the one that broke on the Friday stream. Got 2 for 25 quid. That's very good, Robert. All I can say to that is don't break it. Was a fantastic time. Yeah, I watched lots of people's video interpretations and I thought every bit of it looked superb. There was a lot of it and it was in lots of different places, but it's nice when you've got an event like that and there's lots to see and do, and because it's 3 or 4 different locations, you've also got the anticipation of getting to the next event. Chiltern Railways did used to have a Class 117 DMU for Sandite, which operated till the mid-2010s. Oh, I didn't know that, Simon. If you've got any video of that, which I suspect you might have, yeah, throw it on there. I'd love to see it. Unfortunately, the railhead treatment train, the blue one that you see just extending past you there, is the pristine version, and it's also the water version. They did do a sandite version as well, which sprays the rails with this, well, it blasts the rails and sprays them with a chemical which gives the locomotives adhesion, or whatever's driving, tractive effort. But I left it a bit late in the day and I couldn't get the sandite tankers, so the only ones I could get, made by Daypole as well, were these, and they are all water, I believe. Right, I've just noticed one of the tanks is maybe on its way off, so let me just stop that a minute and relocate it. Yep, that's done. Right, here it comes. TMC want 290 quid. 290 quid! I don't think I paid that much for it. I mean, it's on one of their flatbed metal, what do you call it? Container flats, and then you put the 3 tanks on it, because there's little tiny dimples which the tanks fit into. But I'm surprised at that kind of money. Well, am I surprised? No, not really. The second-hand market is, well, it appears to be full of gougers at the moment. And the other person I spoke to this week was Lord Al, otherwise known as Dragon Junction Mark II. Alan Wiles. Um, Alan rung me by mistake yesterday, but I thought, it might be important. I rang him back. Then we spent the next hour and three quarters chin wagging, as you do. There were various conversations about third party suppliers, and particularly it centered on one called Illuminated Models, which made LED adaptations for things like the Class 66. It appears, according to Stuart at St Mary's, that they may have gone to the wall, take the money and don't produce any goods. So I don't know what on earth has happened there, but it's worth remembering, don't use illuminated models at the moment until a bit of clarity comes to the situation. And a couple of those nuke flask grabs, they're not cheap either. The UK cars are pretty unique though. Yeah, that's true, Sparky Dave. They tested them quite publicly back in the late 60s. They turned up a locomotive up to its full rating of 110 miles an hour and smashed it into one of the nuclear flasks. And it didn't do an incredible amount of damage to it. I think they just did it to prove a point. And usually with nuclear flask trains, there's usually two locos in attendance, but they don't use barrier wagons anymore. Digger Evans, the man of the huge shed. Very good afternoon to you, Digger. I hope today finds you fizzing as usual. Oh yes, Lord Owl came to his rescue. That's the other bit of good news. Alan Wiles went through his spare parts boxes, managed to find a couple of 2 or 3 kits from Illuminated Models for the very model that Stuart wants to modify. So he's going to send them down to him. Very kind. But I know Stuart got really exasperated with having his money taken and then no product turning up after a month or so. Yes, Stuart had already drilled the shell out to accept the new locations for the LEDs, because I believe he'd done one before, so he knew what to do. It's just that he needed the board that holds the LEDs inside, and of course it wasn't forthcoming. I understand that Express Models do a similar type of board, but then we'll see what happens to Illuminated Models. It's quite possible that they'll get taken over by somebody else. Bought a couple of items from a German shop. Wound up a Russian scam site. Only for, oh dear. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Anthony. It can happen sometimes. I've been caught a couple of times like that. Only with small items, but it's just the endless waiting for things to turn up, and then you realise, oh dear, my money is gone. But there you go. Well, I'm not so sure, Pete. If Illuminated Models is a one-man operation, and he just happens to have dropped dead, then of course, yeah, the website would go quiet. And it's only when he has to pay the bills at his internet provider that they would pull the plug. So I don't really want to jump to conclusions there, but the idea is just don't use them until you know it's safe to do so. But yes, you're right, Pete. If it was intentional, then yes, that's fraud. But we don't know that. It's just he paid up. He got an email saying thank you for your order, and that's all he ever heard. So something on Facebook about a plane store closing. My brother wanted model planes. They never arrived. It was a scam. Got the money back for now. Got the money back. But they're picking up the fuss. They can pick up the fuss as much as they want. Scam's a scam. If you pay the money and they don't send the goods, then questions have to be asked. Yes, Eric, I'm short of a couple of teeth myself. Apparently it takes 3 months for the gums to heal properly after having a couple of teeth taken out. I think you've had a few more than a few teeth taken out. I think you've had the lot out, from what I understand. Trouble is, a lot of problems with blood comes from the gums, particularly with things like the heart and things like that. I think my mother had to have all her teeth out because if there's any disease in the gums, it tends to go straight to the heart. So yes, I'm expecting a few teeth myself. And as my 3 months is up, it should be any time now, going to the dentist. Just looking at they were dissolved. Right, so they are dissolved. They are no more. In that case, they should take their... I wonder if it was dissolved through death. That's the only thing that stops me from saying that it's fraud, because if it's a one-man operation and he dropped dead, then his wife's having to pick up all the pieces. Good thing is my bank are in my favour. Well, where there's money to be made, you'll always find scammers, pickpockets, you name it. I'm afraid that just goes with the territory. We just have to be careful. All of us. And Roy Dennis has joined us. A very good afternoon, Roy. I hope all is well in your super appointed garage. I know you very much like messing around with LEDs and lighting and things. Class 68 in Chiltern Railways colours. We all know it was Wrexham and Shropshire. And on the line coming towards you will be the genuine item. Wrexham and Shropshire Class 67. 2 Mark 3s, painted in Wrexham and Shropshire colours. And a driving van trailer. And apart from 3 funky blue and grey coaches that had Wrexham and Shropshire slapped on the side, that's all that Hornby made. Of course, the 68 being a Daypole model, I can actually put a Wrexham and Shropshire logo on that. I'm not sure how accurate that would be. It could turn out I never was a. And then once I get the buffet car sorted out, I should have a 3-car train, and I've enough transfers to get a few more of these coaches and pop some different numbers on. Shorberton Junction, Tony, a very good day to you. I hope you and the family and the doggy are doing well. And we have been joined by another super Canadian, James. A very good morning, James. It's nice to see you're enjoying running your trains. and that you're also taking it easy. Long may that continue. All good. Excellent. Well done, Tony. Yeah, I think with Facebook Marketplace, I think you really have to know the person who you're dealing with. I mean, really know them. A real walk up to their front door and go to the pub with them kind of friendship before you part with any money. I think anything other than that is a bit dangerous. I think eBay, with all its rules, have got it a little more down pat, but you'll still get scammers on there. It's just that then you've got a bit of recourse. BP. Oh, blood pressure. Okay. Is there any sign of the arrhythmia, James? Heart going faster or slower or anything like that? I know you're probably on a monitor, but yeah, I mean, blood pressure can be lowered just by drinking lots of water. So might be worth drinking copious amounts of water. Of course, the only drawback with that is that you're trotting to the toilet quite a bit. But remember, that's what they told me in hospital. Oh, Dwight, get to the chopper. Yes, those that tune into JJ's channel, Great Northern, he does quote a bit of Arnie. Of course, that little phrase comes from the film Predator. I think the full sentence is something like, run, get to the chopper. But yeah, good film. Yes, Andrew, it's the first place of an attack usually comes from gums and teeth. So it's worth extending yourself a little oral hygiene, I think. Can't say I'm that keen on the dentist, but just occasionally, when you get a new set of teeth and they fit well, all is well with the world. And I hope that's what transpires for dear Eric. And the Closet Branch, very good day to you. Hope you're well. Yeah. Oh, I missed a bit there. Sorry, Tony. David's in hospital for 2 weeks ago. Advised to drink lots of water to bring the blood pressure down. Yeah, I thought I had that right. I think the fact that my blood pressure was up at the time was the fact that I was suddenly in the height of, well, actually in the trough of COVID, stuck in a hospital with lots of sick people. It came as a bit of a shock to me. Trying to get on the transplant list. Yeah. I've had teeth troubles all my life. Nearly 75 now, so how much longer have I got? At least another 30 years, Robert. I can see you getting your telegram from the king. In fact, you'll probably outlive him. I'll just give you a little sneaky peek now. Over in the platform is Princess Alexandra. I was going to get this out and run it, but it did have a few teething troubles. So that will be in next week's offering. So that's what I'll do. I've got some super carriages to go with that. Some of them have lights in, even. Hornby did produce some of them, and they went for silly money. But my dad at the time wanted some, so that's what I got. So that should be starring in next week's show. Yeah, Tony, if it's any consolation, when my dad got to 90, that's when things really started to age. Memory, he stopped doing the crossword, started falling over quite a lot. 90 seems to be some kind of, it's almost like the sound barrier for people. It's like they just hit a wall and things start to fail. So yes, I do understand that. Well, here's the coffee, one I made earlier. Cheers, everybody. Good health to all, and to add some friends. Thank you, Pete. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already hit the like button, I'd be most appreciative. $37.26. We're getting there. We're getting there. Death declining at 84. He's stable now. An upgraded pacemaker, but arthritis and vision loss are hampering him. Yeah, things progressively start to fail. But 90 seems to be a real tipping point for lots of old age pensioners. So it's worth remembering that. But even 84 is quite a good stretch. Just a generation ago, you weren't expected to live much beyond 60 or 70. So I think, yeah, our life expectancy has got a little longer. Yes, indeed, Nick. I do understand that. It's a strange thing, but I used to go to an Australian dentist, and he had pictures of Sydney Opera House, Sydney Bridge, all over the ceiling for people to look at and take their mind off their impending predicament, as they say. I noticed the last two visits to my dentist that they've started doing the same, and they've put pictures on the ceiling. And I only noticed that after I told him what the Australians had done. So I think I've become an unwitting influencer. Yeah, Pete, we're all 30 in our dreams. Gollum's well over 300. Well, thank you, Paul. Love you too. Simon, groovy, baby. I did see a post there from Anthony. That is a chain smoker. I understand Alzheimer's and dementia hit. I see he died at 84. Have a TV on the ceiling at my dentist. I watch Big Bang Theory while they do their thing. Well, that's really become quite an event at a dentist to try and keep your mind off of it. I mean, you know, I used to hate the style of full ceiling tiles that they had at the dentist. I used to concentrate on the one that had a crack in it. But now we seem to have lots of nice pictures. In fact, I'll pay a bit more attention the next time I go to the dentist, which I think is next week. And I'll give you a blow-by-blow account of what the dentist has stuck to his ceiling. Same as it's always been, Edward. Sweet FA. A zilch. Nada. Nix. Nada. Nothing. Diddly squat. Money's a great enabler, but I'm no worshipper of money. It gets us lots of nice things, but yeah, the root of all evil, as it's said somewhere. So no, I don't plan to go monetized or anything like that. I want to enjoy the hobby for what it is. It's a bit of fun with some funky coloured rolling stock, some nice locos, whatever I've managed to cobble together for a layout. I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. And it's nice that I can share it with you. Well, Mon's off to bed. Cheers, Mon. Oh, Paul, you're not living in the Adams family house, are you? Where it's got one little black cloud over the roof with little bolts of lightning coming out of it. Oh, say hello to the thing, will you? Oh, for those that are interested, here is the body side. I don't know if you can see that too well. That's the body side that I took the tampo printing off. And as you can see, I scratched that one off with my nail, and the paint is perfect on there. On the other side, it's a different story. It was a lot of IPA, which left an impression on the plastic, which I then had to rub off. So there's a bit more rubbing to do on that, and then I should be ready for painting next week, weather allowing. Yeah, I would imagine 60 frames per second does make quite a difference. But then you've got to have the cameras and the hardware to back that up, Anthony. And all I've got is a simple PC, which is probably working at its maximum at the moment. So in its form at the moment, it's doing about as much as it can. Sprue and glue. Very good day to you. Hope you're well. And gluing and sprueing. Yeah, unfortunately, Anthony, I started with the IPA, and I wish I'd have just been a little more adventurous and started with the edge of my fingernail or thumbnail, as I should say. Um, that would have saved a hell of a lot of work. But I have one of these. It's called a flexi file. There's different grades of grinding and polishing on there. That's a very fine polish finisher, which is something like 4,000 or 6,000 grit. This one is around about 1,200. Oh, that one, that's very, very fine. And this one is around 1,200. So this is something like 6,000, and I think that's something like 4,000 grit. Yeah, very good for not doing too much damage to plastics. Well, John trained BFDR. Your dentist has seen the light. He's got railroad pictures on the walls. What a great guy. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a spectacularly good idea. Perhaps I ought to try the power of suggestion on our dentist. Yeah, no biting the nails. Luckily, my fingernails are quite long, and particularly the thumbnail. It's just where the edge of the thumbnail meets the top. You tend to get you get a point on there, but it's after a while it's worn into a rounded point, and it's just right for picking off the tampo printing. I didn't realise it would come off so easy. Robert, yes, I do have a bottle of teacup, and I did consider using that, but I thought I'd try the IPA first, and then after that, when it turned so messy, and then started taking the paint off with the tampo, I then thought, well, the teacup's even more aggressive, so I'll try using a gentle rubbing motion with the fingernail, and that seemed to do the trick. So use the fingernail trick first, and then if all else fails, go for the IPA or the teacup. You've had the same dentist for 30 years. Anthony, does he have a Dodge Viper sitting out in the car park? Well, Pete, it was an absolute pig to take that Lima coach apart. Well, it's the Hornby use of the Lima tooling, but it was a pig. But I really took my time. I thought, well, I'm going to damage this if I'm not too careful. But I used an awful lot of spreaders, an awful lot of guitar picks, and just worked away at it gently. Squeezed the windows on the side because they've got to literally clear from inside. But it's literally bending the sides open enough for those windows to come out cleanly. And what Hornby did was they made the windows even deeper to make them more prototypical, but of course it makes it tougher to get them out. Yeah, the intimation, Anthony, is that he's probably got quite a nice car, being the dentist. And Anthony, I wasn't joking when I said that one day Richard will probably have a Dodge Charger because that's his favourite. And there's enough of them floating around in the UK to
you'd have to spend a bit of money, of course. There's enough of them Dodge Chargers floating around in the UK to make that possible. So we shall see. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd love to see a Dodge Charger in black sitting on the drive. Although black's a bit of an awful colour to try and keep clean. So I don't think he'll go the whole hog and paint it red and have a Confederate flag sitting on the top. So I don't think that would go down too well somehow. But yeah, a classic lined car. Yeah, I think if I was going to do that, Robert, I'd be inclined to buy it already weathered or get it professionally weathered rather than go at it sort of ham-fisted. I think I'd have to practice on an awful lot of scrap rolling stock first before I became happy with my results. There's a company over in Essex. I think they're in, where are they? Somewhere out near Bishop Stortford, who do really, really good weathering. And we've used them. They're not cheap, but they're not expensive either. And they do a very, very good job. And they usually stay in contact to try and find out exactly what you want. So the idea is you send them the locomotive and various pictures of it in the state that you want it in, and they will do the rest. A Black Dodge Charger is an auto trader for 75,000. Yeah, like I say, not cheap. But then a good Mark II Escort these days, something like a Mexico or an RS2000, that'll set you back 50,000, and you're getting a whole lot more for your money with a big Dodge V8. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, once more, dear friends, cheers. Oh, that's lukewarm now, but it's still good. There you are. Next time we see it, it will be weathered. No, it won't. No, I like this in its pristine form. I think most of the Network Rail stuff we've got is in pristine form. There's a couple of items that are weathered. Class 37 is weathered, but it came weathered when I bought it. Very kind of you to hit the like button. There's 35 in with 32 thumbs up. Very kind of everybody to do that. I'm most appreciative. Had black cars for years. Birds used to use them as target practice. Yeah, we had a black Fiesta. It was a 1.4 gear, but it had an intractable ignition problem, which we never finally got to the bottom of. So when it started getting holes in the floor pan, gone. Thanks, Chuck, for coming in and enjoying some funky looking trains. Thanks for reminding me to hit the like. I haven't hit it. Oh, Simon, you have done that. Good lad. Thanks, Dino. So, yes, the LMS, let me get out of the way. Over there is the LMS, what would that be? Streamliner. So that will be coming up next week once I've worked on it a little more. And I'll be getting some matching coaches out. So I may actually get the
the maroon version out, which I know Anthony likes, and run the two trains together. Why not? 19th, Greg? I missed something there. Oh, current or 19th century? Yeah, that's what Edward's working on. So yeah, very 19th century. The coronation class. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, I don't think I've had the blue one out before. Again, it's one of my father's old locos from around about the turn of the millennia, 2005, I think they come out, something like that. And they do need a little bit of attention. So I'll be looking into doing that and adding a little lubrication, checking the motor out, make sure it's still tickety boo and all the gearing. And I think they've given a good account of themselves today. No squeaking. Even the noise from the gear tower has disappeared now. So yeah, all good. I think it just needed a bit of heating. We have one blue one and one red one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mark. Oh, look at those teeth. Oh, yeah. Just got to get the bottom ones fixed now. Owned quite a few Ford cars in my time. Fiestas, Cortinas, Escorts, Focus and Fusion. Yeah. I used to love my Escort. It was a real hot rod. Without it having all of the Go Faster stripes on it, it just looked like a normal 4-door. But boy, could it go. Had fun with that. But you get old and yeah, it's a young man's thing. But there you go. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming in. Everybody have a great week. If Lord Al's looking in, great speaking to you yesterday, Al. And we'll catch up pretty soon, I would imagine. Thanks, Robert. It's very nice of you to come in and spend some time on Sunday with us. Always great to see you. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week. I'll catch you on Rob's stream, which is coming up. That's Shedley Wood Model Railway. And Dwight's stream is tonight. So happy days, everybody. See you soon. Adios.